And US President Donald Trump has said he made no progress with Vladimir Putin on ending the Ukraine war in a call on Thursday as the Kremlin insisted that Russian president would stick to his aims in the conflict. Speaking to reporters at Joint Base Andrews, Trump said that him and Russian President Vladimir Putin talked about Iran and the war in Ukraine during a pretty long call. He said he did not make any progress on a deal to end the fighting in Ukraine and said that he's not happy about that.
We had a call. It was a pretty long call. We talked about a lot of things, including Iran. And we also talked about, as you know, the war with Ukraine. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. No, I didn't make any progress with him today at all.
Trump's view of the call was unusually bleak. Now, after most of his previous 5 calls with Putin since returning to power in January, he's usually given an optimistic report of the progress towards a deal. Trump's grim assessment came as US-led peace talks on ending the more than 3-year-old conflict in Ukraine have stalled, and after Washington paused some weapons shipments to Kyiv. In Moscow, the Kremlin said the call between Putin and Trump lasted nearly an hour and that Putin insisted that he would not give up on Russia's goals in the conflict with Ukraine.
Наш президент также сказал, что Россия будет добиваться поставленных целей, то есть устранения всем известных первопричин, приведших к нынешнему положению дел, к нынешней острой конфронтации. И от этих целей Россия не отступится.
Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said Trump reiterated his proposal for a swift ceasefire in Ukraine, while Putin emphasized on resolving the conflict through political negotiations. Moscow has long described its goals in Ukraine as getting rid of the root causes of the conflict, demanding that Kyiv give up its NATO ambitions and recognize Russia's territorial gains. The conversation between Trump and Putin came days after Washington announced a decision to pause some weapons shipments in a blow to Kyiv, which has been reliant on Western military support. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky was visiting ally Denmark on Thursday to meet leading European Union officials. Zelensky told EU allies in Denmark that doubts over US military aid reinforced the need for greater cooperation with Brussels and NATO. Zelensky said that he expects to have a telephone conversation with Trump, maybe tomorrow or in the next few days.
What about our bilateral relation with the United States and this support? So I hope that maybe tomorrow or in close days, these days, I will speak about it with the President Trump.
Meanwhile, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said that Europe must beef up its aid to Ukraine following Washington's decision to pause some weapons shipments. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said Europe is not complete without Ukraine as she vowed to use Denmark's time, leading the EU's rotating presidency to push for Ukraine joining the Union. Furthermore, German Foreign Minister Johann Wedful, after meeting his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi for a bilateral meeting in Berlin, called on China to use its influence on Russia to help end the war in Ukraine.
We must prevent Russia from waging this war with the supply of crucial war goods. I emphasized once again how important it is for China to do everything possible to ensure that such goods do not reach Russia from the People's Republic and ultimately support this war.
For more on this, we were earlier joined by Senior Policy Director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, John Erith. Listen to what he had to say.
Well, ending wars is always a lot more difficult than starting them. Peace process takes time and it takes willing participants. And right now, neither Ukraine nor Russia is in a position where it has realized its war goals. And so neither one feels that there is much to be gained by a rapid peace negotiation at this point. So the peace process is going to be difficult. It is going to require a great deal of patience. It's going to require painstaking negotiation. And it's simply not a case where you can end the war in one day, as President Trump famously promised. So it's going to take a lot of time and it's going to take a lot of patience and care. And that seems to be what is not coming out of the Trump administration at this point.